Hello, everybody. Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas. Got an interesting story for you today. Missing girl, Monica Carrasco, 16 years old, from Balmorhea, Texas. And this was in October 2003. I got a little write up here that you're going to find super interesting, and then some screenshots, proof files. I'm going to show you. It says Monica Carrasco was 16 when she went missing from Balmorhea on October 2nd, 2003. Monica was 5'5" and weighed about 110 pounds. She was Hispanic with brown eyes, black hair, possibly red streaks, and pierced ears. Monica had dimples on both cheeks, a small light-colored mole on the left side of her face, and a small chickenpox scar on her forehead near the hairline. She was last seen wearing a beige and white nightgown with no shoes or socks, and she may have been carrying a large black or white Bible. Monica was listed as endangered missing. In 2015, a Facebook friend who asked to remain anonymous told me that her son-in-law, who lives in Odessa, Texas, went to Balmorhea on the day that Monica went missing. I got a print screen I'm going to show you here in a minute. She said that he came back in 2 days, which is when she found a Bible and a gown that he said had oil on it. My friend told me my son-in-law and daughter and 3-year-old grandson went up there and rented a cabin. He said they were going fishing, but they didn't take any fishing gear. And also, when they returned the next day, I went to look for my grandson's bear, and I found the Bible. I thought it was a friend of mine's daughter named Monica. And in 2012, I saw Monica's Bible again in my daughter's garage, mixed in with my son-in-law's stuff. From this conversation, I found out that the son-in-law's stepdad was the late Alan Dean Carlisle. I told my friend that my first PI, who I'd hired right after I was shot, was a former Odessa homicide detective named Larry Carlisle. He was recommended by an attorney in Odessa named Sarah Billingsley, who's now a judge. I told him that I didn't need his help anymore after he suggested that I had ghosts here and asked me about selling my home. Those are red flags for me, and I suspected that he knew something about the crimes here. I wondered if Larry was related to Alan, but I never got that answer. My friend then tells me that her son-in-law lived a few houses down from Rene Escobar Sanchez. Rene went missing from Odessa in July 2008, 3 months before the previous owner of my home, Mike Lawhon, died. Based on evidence that I found, I believe that Mike was killed here and taken to his mom's house in Fort Worth. A former neighbor, Marilyn Dlugi, told me twice that Mike died at my home, and she also said that somebody else died here before him. In fact, I wrote Odessa Crimestoppers in 2013 and told them that I wondered if Rene had been buried in my west lawn, where I had smelled a death smell and found half-buried cut-up clothes. They didn't look, and right after that, another guy named Jesus confessed to killing Rene, but a body was never found. I wondered if Rene is still buried here right now. It's a small world. This is the FBI right here, VICAP alert for missing person for Balmorhea, Texas. Monica Cassandra Carrasco, missing since October 2003. You can see her picture there and her information. Same thing I just read you there. And she says Carrasco last seen at her cousin's as she went to bed the next morning. When her room was checked, Carrasco was missing. Her room had a door leading to the outside and was unlocked. Carrasco left wearing her beige nightgown, and her Bible was also not in the room. You see how interesting that is, because I'm going to show you here. This is a print screen of a conversation back in 2015 with a Facebook friend. She asked to remain anonymous, but she was telling me this, and she says, yes, my son-in-law went to Balmorhea the day she went missing. That's when I found the Bible. And she said, said the rented cabin didn't take fishing gear. That's the same thing I just read to you, but I'm showing you I got a print screen. I sent this to law enforcement. This has gone to law enforcement before. When they returned the next day and went to look for the grandson, found the Bible. She was missing with her Bible, And she said she seen it again in 2012. She said her son-in-law is a plumber over there in Odessa, but I didn't post his name here. She was real concerned. One, I think they've called her crazy, and that seems to be how they cover up crimes and murders around here. They anybody reporting crimes, they're automatically crazy. Okay, here he lives in Odessa. We got off early. Here's that. This I think was it was her son-in-law's stepdad, this guy, Alan Dean Carlisle, that was obituary. And then that's where I was telling her about my first private investigator, Larry Carlisle, that come over here and suggested ghost and everything else. I had just been shot. I mean, I just got out of the hospital when I hired him. And there, she says, he and the stepson's mom live a few houses down from Rene Escobar Sanchez, okay? Now, I'm going to show you Rene, okay? Or this is Mike, okay? Remember the former neighbor, I'll do Rene in a minute. The former neighbor told me that Mike Lawhon died here twice. She told me that, and then said Rene or somebody else had died here before him, and I wondered if that was Rene. So this is Mike Lawhon, 27 years old. He died right before I moved here. I bought the house from his widow, Sarah Lawhon, okay? And, some of the proofs that I found was the Odessa American posted death notice, said he died in Fort Worth here. You see it? And then 4 days later, they posted a death notice, changed the location, death say he died at his residence. That's what the neighbor had told me twice. That confirmed what Marilyn said, that he died here. So that's why I believe he was killed here. And then another friend of mine said that Mike was telling his friends there were people breaking in this house. He was always talking about people breaking in the house. Same crimes that I reported before I was shot with my phone lines cut. I tried to get the police reports for this home during the time Mike died, and I sent this first responder request to the city online request form, and I told him, I said I want the records for my home before November 1st, 2008. I'm very interested in any records for the previous owner, Mike Lawhon. He died a few weeks before I bought this home. I suspected that he was murdered by the same people who shot me, and the city of Midland denied me access to the police reports for my own home, and I appealed it to Texas Attorney General Greg Paxton, and he denied it too. And I suspect them police reports might prove what I've already suspected, is that Mike Lawhon was killed here. His death certificate says he's killed in Fort Worth, but you can see why I think Mike was killed here. Okay, and then Aaron Packover, he's the local businessman here that told me 4 people had been murdered, died in your house. Can I ask you, there were 4 people murdered, died in your house. What are their names? So I've suspected that Mike Lawhon's one of them. Maybe Rene was another one. Okay. Also interesting, this is the schedule for the 2008 Permian Basin International Oil Show. It started on the 20th. And Mike Lawhon died on the 12th. So a week before the oil show parties were going to start in the backyard, that's when Mike Lawhon, is suspected of being murdered here and taken to Fort Worth. Okay, and then here's where it's believed the underground home is in the backyard of this house, right? And then here I got Tisha print screen telling me that the oil show parties were going on in the underground homes. Just seems real interesting. Mike Lawhon, dies the week before the oil show party started in the secret underground home in his backyard. And the neighbor, Marilyn Dlugi, told me twice that Mike died here and said somebody else died here before him. Rene went missing July 12, 2008, 3 months before Mike Lawhon died. Okay, so I wondered if this is who was who died here before him. Okay, was Rene Escobar Sanchez. Okay. I sent in a Crimestoppers here, and you can see it. That's copied and pasted from the Crimestoppers. So Odessa Crimestoppers transferred to Midland 2008, et cetera, et cetera. But I suspected that, I was smelling a death smell after I first moved here on the west side of my lawn. I found a half-buried cut up clothes, suggested that Rene might be sitting here. I also went over to the Odessa American. You can see the date, February 2013, and I sent them, and I said, hey, I sent this to Crimestoppers. They, and nobody looked here, and I never got a reply back from the Odessa American either. Okay, and then that's one we just did. Sorry about that. Okay, here I want to show you when I first bought this home. Golly, here, let's do this again. When I first bought this home, okay, this is the living room. First day I looked at the home before I even bought it, there's this large rug right here, okay, and I bought it as is, whatever. Well, once a month later, after Mike died, and I come in and I was going to paint the whole house, replace all the carpet, everything. When I pulled that up, there's huge, ugly stain right there, maybe a blood stain. I wonder if somebody died right there. And in the fireplace right here, I found a hole that looked like a bullet hole right there, and and so I'm later thinking, I wonder if Rene Rene wasn't killed there, shot there, and then buried on the west side of the line 3 months before Mike died, you know. But I ripped all that out and replaced all the carpet and painted the house the first couple of weeks I was here, you know. And then here was a video I'd done, death smell and cut up clothes. And, you know, you could go find these pieces of this cut up clothing on that side of the lawn for years. I mean, this has been going on forever, right? And nobody's ever looked, you know. And probably still find some. You go digging out there, you know. And then right after I contacted Crimestoppers, said, come look here. Maybe he's buried in my lawn. All of a sudden, they pull this guy over for a traffic stop, and he confesses to Rene's murder. They never find the body. Look at the smile on his face. I made a point of that before. This is Buddy Webb, Midland, Texas.